All right, guys, this is Paul Singh, the Market Speculator with bullsonwallstreet.com. Today we have the weekly swing trade report, and we're going to talk about my favorite sector right now, and that is solars, the second hottest sector over the last 30 days. If we look here, I've got these sectors sorted over the last 30 days. Number one is trucking, number two is solar, number three is aluminum, and then insurance, which is financials, footwear. All of these stocks were tracking in, all of these sectors were tracking in the trade report. Right now, my favorite is solars. We actually have one position in solars right now. And you can see from the chart here why I like it so much. If we pull this out over a year, we can see it had been in a downtrend. And if I was to pull this back further, it's been in a longer downtrend. And it's been bottoming basically for the last 5 or 6 months. And that's what we like to see in a bottoming formation. They usually don't happen right away. You want to see these things consolidate over time and then start to take out key levels. And that's exactly what solars did. And we actually traded it through here and through here when it went from a bottoming formation. And look at this really nice volume pattern in here, volume pattern in here, volume pattern in here. So we're seeing a definite change in trend, and not only price action, but in the volume pattern as well, meaning there's accumulation in this area. So when solars broke the 50, when they broke the 200, those were clues to get in and make some trades. We've done that, and now we're in it again on this next kind of wave up higher. So definitely a sector we want to be paying attention to. Probably the best sector right now, along with financials, as we've had this kind of rotation away from tech into some other things. So once I have that sector that I like, obviously I'm going to key in on the stocks within that sector. And if we pull up solars here, you can see a bunch of them. There are 5 I like for various reasons. Many of them are putting in very similar patterns to the sector itself. Number one is FSLR. This is basically the leader in the field. I'm actually in this one right now, and you can see one of our past trades here. We've had a couple in here, but essentially the way we played this one was, and I entered it late last week, but it was basically a trend pullback and hold of a key level. So essentially we had this run here from 34 to 40, really nice run, broke the high, consolidated, pulled back here, and this looks to be the pivot here. So it looks like the pullback stopped here, and then on Friday we showed some strength, and that was my clue to enter. We cleared the 9. We'll see if we get that continuation here. I'm actually playing, when we play this pullback, we've got to play a break of the high, and my target's up in here. Basically, I'm taking the previous move and saying we can get that move again. So that was the idea behind the entry there. It's still available if you're looking for an entry. Really nice setup here with FSLR. Overall, really nice pattern. Now, a few other stocks that I really like. SPWR. This one's a little more volatile, and you're going to get maybe a bigger gain to the upside slightly than FSLR, but also some bigger swings to the downside. Now, I wasn't looking to play any bigger swings right now, so I didn't take SPWR. But if you're a little more risk averse and want to take something where you could potentially get a really big pop in, SPWR, really nice here. Not only is it lower float than FSLR, it also has a high short interest, which a lot of these solars do. So if they do start to move, you can get a bit of a short squeeze as well. So that's why I like SPWR here. Maybe putting in a pivot on Friday. I'd probably wait to see if it could clear the 9, but if it does, there's a lot of room here to the upside. Another one, Run, which I have traded in the past. Another volatile play. This one was an IPO. It's aging now, but it still is IPO. Low float, very high short interest. So one of the highest short interests of the solars we're watching, and that's why we see these big moves to the upside. But also when it drops, it can drop very hard, which FSLR didn't do. And again, that's what I was looking for, a more conservative play this time. But this one now pulled back, held. This one's above its 9. I think it's a little stronger than SPWR, and if it does get that short squeeze, you could see a real pop. Like all of these solars, fantastic volume pattern here as well. So I really like Run. If you are going more aggressive, Run is a good option over SPWR or even FSLR. SEDG, another IPO-ish type stock here. a little more conservative than run, but it does have some short interest. It is lower float. So this is another one that could really run. Putting in a little different pattern here. I would wait on this one instead of the pivot because it bounced so hard on Friday. I would high that could set up the next run. You can see here last time it ran from about 16 all the way to 20. So if we break 2150, maybe you get a move to 25. So that's SEDG. And then finally, our last one. Now this one is interesting because it's given us the volatility, but also did not pull back very hard. So maybe it's a little less risk averse. Doesn't have the short interest that some of these others do, but it is low float and it can pop when it starts to move. So entry, another one that's right at a good entry point, and you'd probably want to play through a break of the high, maybe 18, 19 here. So another really good one, really good volume pattern. I would say if you're looking for less risk, go with FSLR. If you're more risk averse, go with something like Run, SEDG, or SPWR. So you can see here, less of a pullback in FSLR. Something like Run might pull back a little harder, might stop you out, but when it does run, you could maybe even get some bigger gains. I know some of you like the lower price stocks, and Run is right at $6, $7, but even FSLR is only a $40 stock. So that's one of the sectors we're keying in on here. We'll talk about this later, maybe next week, but financials are in play. Housing is in play. Semis might be making a comeback, so watch those sectors, but really pay attention to solars here.